Stephanie Germanotta, Lady Gaga, and her dog Alice, New York City, 1996. Donald Trump with his 13-year-old daughter Ivanka in 1990. A line for vodka at the Glavspert store on 25th October Avenue, Nevsky Prospect, Leningrad, USSR, 1925. York University President Murray Ross sitting on the future site of York, Keele campus in 1960. Tahiau, the second Maori king, photographed during his leadership of the Kungitanga movement in the late 19th century. He reigned from 1860 to 1894. Tearful actress Marilyn Monroe in passenger seat of car beside her lawyer after announcing her divorce from Joe DiMaggio, 1954. An officer accosts an unconscious woman as mounted police officers attack civil rights marchers in Selma, Alabama, who were attempting to begin a 50-mile march to Montgomery to protest race discrimination in voter registration. A female logger moving logs downstream in New Hampshire circa 1938 to 1945. An artist in the rain paints with the Sacré-Cœur. In the background, Paris, France, 1946. Linda Carter portrait photo for Daddy, 1991. July 1976 Thompson River flood. Charlie Chaplin in 1919. A couple on the same bench 30 years later. Results of Mensur, a traditional, strictly regulated saber fight between two male members from different student fraternities, usually in Germany. Portrait of a young, unidentified shoeshine boy in the park near City Hall in New York City, July 25, 1924. Old Buffalo Hunter, 1940. Radio City Rockettes all lined up on stage, New York City, 1946. Kodachrome shot of Jane Mansfield with her new child, Miklos, and husband, Mike Hargitay, December of 1958. The Pink Palace, California. Backyard engineering. Father and son go karting in 1958. John B. Watson, the godfather of American psychology, tests a child's reflex, circa 1916. The first ever Olympic village was in Paris for the 1924 Games. Australian ex-prisoners of war practice cricket on the flight deck of HMS Formidable while returning to Sydney, 1945. A youngster practices her ballet on a rainy day in Balsall Heath, Birmingham, England, 1968. Snoop Dogg at prom. Fighting during the Romanian Revolution in central Bucharest, December 24, 1989. Ku Klux Klan members marched down Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. in 1928. United States President Ronald Reagan speaks in the Assembly Hall of Moscow State University, May 30, 1988. Happy New Year, 1947. Party Gals. Diego Maradona in Moscow, November 1990. Korea, summer 1950, United States GIS marching in single file move up north to the front line, passing a single file of civilian refugees fleeing south. An Inuit woman carries their babies in cold weather clothing, 1940. A man carrying an RCA Victor portable TV while the ladies are supervising, 1960. The Prime Minister of Great Britain, Winston Churchill, listens to the explanations of a Soviet serviceman at the entrance from the side of the garden to the Reich Chancellery, Berlin, July 1945. A 41-year-old Winston Churchill commanding the 6th Royal Scots Fusiliers, 1916, after resigning from the government. Women's War Work Life in a Shell Factory, England, United Kingdom, 1942. Westgate Theatre in Minnesota was showing Harold and Maude for 3 years running, and there was a protest in 1974. A woman sunbathes on a rooftop in East Berlin in the 1970s. Muhammad Ali sits atop a stack of $1 million in 1964. The Frogman visits the Little Mermaid, Copenhagen, 1965. German troops at a gas alarm post, 1916. A trench raider during World War I, sometime in 1914 to 1918. Detroit race riots of 1943. Natalie Portman, 1990s. Abu Dhabi in 1980 and now Jack Black, 1980s. Vietnam veterans looking for work in the early 1980s. Testing the range of a bulletproof vest, 1920. Linda Vaughn in the 1960s, Indy 500 parade. Bruce Willis and Demi Moore at the premiere of If These Walls Could Talk, 1996. First photograph ever taken of a lightning bolt, 1882. In 1901, Marcela Gracia Ibeas and Elisa Sanchez Loriga married. Elsa went into hiding, disguised as a man named Mario. Two nannies with their charges, London, 1950s. Afghan hunter with a fox mask, 1970s. Trip to Mars, 10 cents, 1911. Margot Betty Frank, the older sister of Anne Frank. A textile worker steaming a coat while curious onlookers watch. Alexanderplatz, East Berlin, 1960s. The first photograph of Chernobyl was taken 14 hours after the explosion on April 26, 1986. It was taken from a helicopter assessing the radiation levels in the accident zone. French explorers encounter slaves and slave traders. Apollo 17 Commander Gene Cernan, holding the United States flag with his home planet above him in the sky on December 13, 1972. Zoom in on Cernan's helmet visor to see a reflection of the lunar module and Jack Schmidt, who's taking the picture. 4 men in funny poses. Sigourney Weaver in a Parisian cafe, 1979. Children view the front page announcing Franklin D. Roosevelt's death. Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the Holocaust, in the yard of Ayalon Prison in Israel, 1961. These folks were just headed to a Halloween party in 1938. Woman marching in suffrage parade, 1913. Yugoslav troops surrendering during the Slovenian War of Independence, 1991. Logging in Idaho. One man stands over one of hundreds of fell trees to go to the mill, 1940. The Beautiful Betty Page, 1950s. Mikhail Gorbachev and Fidel Castro on a motorcade during a parade in Havana, Cuba, 1989. Brooklyn, 1944. 3 men and a photo bomber. Swedes holidaying in Åre, 1916. Princess Diana with ballerinas from the English National Ballet, 1997. Security forces moving through Mexico City in the days after the earthquake, 1985. This iconic 1985 image of Concorde, Red Arrows, and Cunard's Queen Elizabeth II was hailed as the photograph of the century. When Mick Jagger and his girlfriend Marianne Faithfull met Alain Delon in 1967, the last giant silicon tree with a group of loggers standing on it in 1899, Winston Churchill greets the crowd with the famous V sign, 1945. Regional dress for ladies. In Navarre, Spain, and particularly from the town of Ochagavia, deep in the Basque region, on the French border. Henry Ford's introduction of the world's first moving assembly line for mass production of automobiles. General later, President Ulysses Grant at Cold Harbor, Virginia, June 1864. Quasar Unipower Car, 1967. (1925) Earthquake in Japan. Funeral of Malcolm X, New York, 1965. It's the real thing. Coca-Cola. In 1991, traffic halted in New York City as the world's largest Coke bottle is hoisted into place onto the new Coca-Cola neon ad at the newly built Times Square Tower. Japanese Zengakuren left-wing university student protester about to hit a riot policeman with a wooden plank. 1969. A group of tourists near the Panama Canal. The flying bicycle of the French inventor Alois Santa, 1923. Rod Stewart posing with his white Lamborghini Miura, P400S, 1971. Ladies on roller skates gliding through New York City streets, late 1970s. Carrie Fisher, 80s. A soldier whose face was badly damaged in World War I tries on a mask made by the Red Cross, 1918. Residents of Boren await the apparition of the Virgin Mary at the viaduct, near the Christian school, where children allegedly saw her the day before. Belgium, 1933, artist unknown. Unknown girls circa 1930s having fun in Long Beach. March 11, 1931. A holograph machine for processing the results of the 1931 census. (1982) Sergio Leone and 12-year-old Jennifer Connelly while filming Once Upon a Time in America. A young Joseph Stalin Wright stands over the body of his 22-year-old wife, Kato Svanitsa, 1907. They had only just welcomed their first son. This creature softened my heart of stone. She died, and with her died my last warm feelings for humanity. Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt surrounded by children. Funny pose. Seoul in 1905 and now. A young Bosnian woman holding an AK-47 smokes a cigarette as she waits for a funeral service in Sarajevo, 1992. English bombing of Belgrade, 1944. Victorian-era muscle-bound strong woman Miriam Kate Williams, known as Vulcana. King George VI of the United Kingdom, photographed with his wife Elizabeth, Queen Consort, and children, Princess Elizabeth later, Queen Elizabeth II and Princess Margaret, on board the HMY Victoria and Albert III in 1938. Gary Dahl, the inventor of the pet rock, a product that sold for $3.95 and made him a millionaire, 1975. The pet rock fad lasted about 6 months. An ice cream vendor and customer in the same place 41 years later. Fishermen's daughters playfully hang upside down from a wooden rack in the sand at Los Orcones, Chile, 1956, photographed by Sergio Larraín, capturing a fleeting moment of childhood freedom by the sea. Soviet Aerosled RF-8, Gazi 98. The German battlecruiser, Prince Regent Luitpold, being towed back to Rosyth, flipped keel up. The ship was among numerous vessels scuttled by their crews following the surrender of the German fleet in 1918. Gillian Anderson photographed playing the X-Files game in 1998. Raymond de la Roche was the world's first licensed female pilot. This photo of her was taken June 7, 1919. Clyde Barrow. (1982) David Bowie and Catherine Deneuve playing chess during the break on the set of The Hunger. A photo of the 1988 Olympic Jamaican bobsled team whose story became the basis for the film Cool Runnings. KTLA-TV broadcast the 31-kiloton blast live from Nevada test site 75 miles from Las Vegas, and it was carried by major networks. April 22, 1952. The Great Smog of London, 1952, England. John Brower Minnock was the heaviest person ever, 600 kilograms. Winking seal. United States soldier poses in body armor while on Paris, France, 12 of June 1918. Tsar Nicholas II poses with his wife Alexandra Fedorovna and oldest daughter Olga to present her to Queen Victoria, Balmoral Castle, Scotland, 29th of September, 1896. The Beautiful Helena Fleming, Miss Dangerous Curves of 1954. Buffalo Bill Mountain Climb. Golden, Colorado. Children look at the amusement park rides on Sandwich Street, London, 1945. Bill Mazeroski of the Pittsburgh Pirates being mobbed by fans after hitting the World Series winning home run at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh on October 13, 1960. Oscar Dominguez, 1950. Drew Barrymore, 1995. Pamela Anderson in her youth, 1991. Robert De Niro with his mom, 1950.